富婆千千万，苏州起码得占一半。
There are millions of rich women out there, and in Suzhou, they probably make up half of them. After working for so long, I've come to realize one thing. Suzhou is full of rich women. It's super common to meet someone whose family assets are in the millions. So why are there so many rich women in Suzhou? First off, Suzhou girls almost always own property. Their parents usually work in the public sector, or the family is just straight up wealthy. Second, most Suzhou families only have one child. Unlike in some cities where families are rich but still favor sons, Suzhou families absolutely dote on their daughters. All the family wealth, it's going to the daughter. So marrying a Suzhou girl, it's like skipping 20 years of hard work. Any guys out there? Looking to meet a Suzhou lady? If you're still watching, comment 1 so I know you're still with me.
女生年入100万在相亲市场上算是优势吗？
Is earning $14,000 a year considered an advantage for women in the dating market? Let's look at a case submitted by a follower. She was born in 1989, so she's 37 years old. Height, 163 cm, weight, 50 kg. Looks, rated 5 out of 10. Education, graduated from a top-tier 985 university. Industry, internet. Annual income, 14,000. Current savings, 168,000. No property or car in Shanghai. She's an only child from Shandong. Parents are retired from public sector jobs. Now let's break this down. Her obvious strength is her high income. But her weaknesses are also clear. Age 37, average looks, and relatively short stature. Now let's look at what kind of man she's hoping to find. In Shanghai, within plus 5 years of her age height, at least 175 centimeters, not overweight. Education, at least a bachelor's degree. Income requirement, 7,000 to 28,000 per year. She also adds, if his family background is good, $7,000 is acceptable. If not, she hopes his personal ability makes up for it. Must own property in Shanghai and plan to settle there. So, what kind of man do I think she should be looking for? First, she could expand the age range, maybe plus 10 years. Ideal height range, 168, 175 cm with 185 cm being optimal. Education, bachelor's or even vocational college. Income target, 7,000 to 28,000, but this must be judged in context. If the man already owns property in Shanghai, his income could be lower, around 28,000. He may not be a Shanghai local, but perhaps from nearby cities, or someone who worked hard with his family's help to buy a house here. Having fully paid off property in Shanghai is key. Such a man might be working a stable job, maybe at a state-owned enterprise or government office. Age. Could be 45 or even 50. I asked the woman. She said she cannot accept men who already have children. But here's the catch. If she insists on finding someone older, wealthy, childless, and never married, the odds of long-term compatibility and stability actually decrease. Because think about it. A 45-year-old man in Shanghai, never married, no kids, decent income, and fully paid property. Does he really have trouble finding someone? Now let's go back to what she is looking for. A man aged 35 to 40, owns property in Shanghai, earns $7,000, $28,000, is fit and tall. This kind of man usually chooses women aged 25 to 30. And that's exactly why earning $14,000 a year isn't necessarily an advantage for women in dating. To this kind of man, her income doesn't matter. Because he already makes that kind of money himself. So why wouldn't he choose a younger woman, even if she earns less?
离婚真正的原因，99%的人都没有给你们讲实话。这个视频看完你会明白。
The real reason behind most divorces. 99% of people haven't told you the truth. Watch this video till the end, and you'll get it. Every day in China, over 100,000 couples get divorced. The divorce rate, over 50%. People usually say it's because of emotional breakdown or personality differences. But the truth, it's sexual incompatibility. Sex is the preservative of marriage. If two people are in sync, it feels like you're newlyweds every day. Always cuddling, always thinking about each other. So how could they even bear to separate? Some say I divorced because of domestic violence. But if you two were truly compatible, once the lights are off, you'd still be thinking about how to get intimate. How could you possibly want to hurt someone you crave like that? Others say I divorced because my partner cheated. But if you're truly in sync, where would they even find the energy to cheat? Think about it. Normal married couples have basic physiological needs. What kind of plan are you on? Weekly pass, monthly pass, seasonal or annual pass? In most cases, divorce stems from lack of sex. Sex is essential in a marriage. It's not optional. Life may be full of chores, bills, and stress, but that physical connection is one of the few things left that proves there's still love, or at least attraction. On the surface, this topic seems minor, But ask yourself, is it really that unimportant? Some couples are too prideful. They argue, give each other the silent treatment. Neither wants to take the first step, because whoever does feels like they're giving in. Whether you're 20, 50, or even 60, the need is still there. You have to recognize issues in your marriage early. Once you spot a problem, address it head on. Remember the energy and passion you had when you got married? Let's be honest. Romance between men and women always boils down to this. So how did it get lost along the way? And don't go blaming it on food safety or something absurd. Then when the divorce happens, you say, he changed. He fell out of love. Really? Think about it. You've got to face this part of marriage seriously. Have the ability to identify and solve problems. That's what matters. What do you all think? Is this important or not? Every day I take tough topics, break them down into plain language, and speak directly to you. I'm not about fancy words or polished packaging. Just straightforward truth you can understand and relate to. I don't create gender wars. I just talk about the real essence of marriage.
我是不太能接受的，我是一定要生小孩的。
小姐姐，你几几年的呀？
I personally can't accept that. I definitely want to have children. Miss, what year were you born? I was born in 2000. So you're 26 now. What kind of guy are you looking for? Someone taller than 1.7 meters with a stable job. Preferably good-looking and ideally with a government job. And what about you? What do you do? I work in the public sector too. How about the guy's family background? Ideally, both parents should have pensions, and not too many siblings. You seem like a fashionable and modern woman. Many say dink double income. No kids couples are happier. What do you think? I can't really accept that. I absolutely want kids. Because to me, it's the continuation of life. Money can buy everything, but it can't buy the continuation of life. It can't buy bloodline. And it definitely can't buy the kind of bond that runs thicker than water. If a family has no continuation of life or bloodline, then no matter how much money or glory it has, it's all just a zero. Plus, babies are so cute. Exactly, babies are so adorable. Wow, you really said it well.
有小伙伴留言说呀，现在南昌好多年轻人结婚实在太潇洒了。
Someone left a comment recently saying, young people in Nanchang are way too chill about getting married these days. It completely blew their mind. They went to a wedding in another province. And the couple didn't even book a hotel. They just set up 2 tables in their own living room. Around 20 guests, all immediate family. Not even an MC. The bride walked in on her own, wearing just a simple everyday dress. Not even a wedding gown. The couple said they're saving the rest of the wedding budget. Even the wedding photos, just selfies on their phones. And the most surprising part, the bride didn't ask for anything. No demand for a bride price of $2,500. No 3 gold ring necklace earrings. They're home. Just a rented studio apartment. Wedding car. The bride's 5-year-old used car. The whole wedding felt more like a family dinner. The bride just went around telling the elders the good news. Even the name change money, a symbolic gift from the groom's family, was just $90 for good luck. Honestly, back in the day, people got married with just a red cloth and still lived well. Whether life turns out happy or not doesn't depend on flashy ceremonies. Young people today are really seeing things clearly. No need for over-the-top events. No wedding debt. Just a simple, grounded life. If you ask me, that is what real love looks like. Way better than those who borrow money just to throw a fancy banquet.
你是一定要结婚的，对不对？
对呀，我还想在40岁之前生孩子。
You're definitely planning to get married, right? Yes, I want to have children before I turn 40. I graduated from a top university and work at a state-owned enterprise. My annual salary is about $14,000. As for age, I'm okay with someone 2 or 3 years older. But income, it needs to be at least $28,000 a year. No debts, fully paid car and house. And must be unmarried. Honestly, guys like that probably wouldn't choose you. Why not? Isn't it possible he's in the same situation as me? When he was younger, he didn't want to settle for less. And at that age, even girls in their 20s didn't want to settle either. So why would he settle now? For a 37-year-old like you?
最近呢，其实很多人问我，就是2025年。
Lately, a lot of people have been asking me, what are the most blacklisted professions on the 2025 dating scene? Well, today, let's be brutally honest. 1. Lawyers. Doesn't matter if male or female. The moment you say you're a lawyer, the other side instantly replies, sorry, we're not a match. Why? Because no one wants to argue with someone they can never win against. Divorced. They'll win the assets too. And people are scared they'll get calculated and outmaneuvered in the relationship. 2. Teachers, especially female teachers. They spend all day teaching and managing kids. When they get home, they do not want to keep lecturing or being lectured. 3. Nurses. practically a recurring nightmare. Rotating shifts can never be reached. Working night duty more often than a horror movie villain. Their schedules are scarier than ghost stories. So who got hit by this list? Raise your hand, besties.
谁说我们江西女孩子不好的？
Who says girls from Jiangxi aren't good enough? I'm breaking the stereotype with my own actions. I'm single, and let this video be proof. In the future, when I get married, I won't ask for a single cent of bride price. Oh, and one more thing. My dad said, whoever marries me, all the tea fields behind me, will be yours.
哇哦，今年的相亲角简直堪比婚恋版变形记的现场啊！
Wow. Today's matchmaking corners in China look like live versions of a romantic Transformer show. Every turn is filled with silence and awkwardness. I went to check it out a few days ago. And let me tell you, let's not even talk about the rest of the country. Just look at the matchmaking corner in Shenzhen. The walls are plastered with princesses seeking their princes. But turn around. The men's side is emptier than China's national soccer team making it to the World Cup. In cities like Nanjing, Chengdu, and Guangzhou, the real battlefield looks like this. 1,000 women lined up like designated drivers for single-digit male candidates. It's faster than the Spring Festival train ticket rush. But here's the paradox. According to the Bureau of Statistics, there are 30 million more men than women in China. Yet somehow the dating market has pulled off a 50 gender ratio, like men have all collectively gone invisible or they've been completely scared off by the entry fee to join the marriage market. What's really happening? The truth is, this generation of young people is voting with their feet, kicking marriage out of life's default options. It's not that men are becoming monks. It's that the dating market has turned into a slaughterhouse controlled by capital traffic and housing prices. Getting married now is basically like joining a Hunger Games for houses, dowries, and child rearing. If you don't have some superpowers, you're not even making it past the tutorial level. You've seen those emotional relationship coaches on short videos, right? One hand holds the flag of female independence. The other teaches you how to sneak your name onto a property deed. When a $42,000 dowry is on the table, even the slightest attitude from the groom is seen as targeted poverty alleviation. Sounds familiar? Walk into a mall. The smile from the jewelry saleswoman is like soul soup from the afterlife. Sir, buy your girlfriend a gold ring set. That's the credit report of your love. Then pass a real estate agency. Those house price numbers jump faster than your heart rate. Down payment of $28,000. Congratulations, you've unlocked your marriage entry ticket. A woman earning $840 a month is praised as the new middle-class goddess. A man earning over $1,400 a month but without a house. He's labeled a flawed leftover. So, love is now being sold by the square meter. What are we even doing? Matchmaking or just setting up the poker table from the start? People ask about divorce terms before they even say I love you. But the cruelest part, the blade of survival costs. A tech company elite earning $42,000 a year does the math and realizes raising a kid in Beijing to age 17 will cost $141,000 and melts down the engagement ring for formula money. Every day feels like a boss levels. Mortgage, car loan, childcare loan, all chasing you down like NPCs in a game. Love. That's a skin exclusive to VIP pay-to-win players. Us regular folks, we can't even leave the beginner village. Back in the 80s, marriage only required the 3 must-haves and 1 dream. A bicycle, a watch, a sewing machine, and a radio. Now, you need a 3-bedroom apartment and a Tesla. When marriage shifted from being a castle for 2 to a KPI battlefield for capital, young people picked up the ultimate weapon: lying flat. In 2024, the number of marriages in China dropped below 6 million couples, not just a collapse, but Gen Z flipping the chessboard in open rebellion. This game is rigged. We're done playing. When matchmaking corners turn into property certificate comparisons and weddings become ROI ceremonies for dowries, are we really looking for a life partner? Or just doing unpaid labor for capitalism's KPI targets? Maybe the real survival guide is become a complete independent person first, then talk about love and being loved. Because a marriage stacked on materialism breaks easier than a bubble tea straw. Before we dive into all of this, let us know in the comments where you're watching this video from. Connecting with viewers across the world is a huge source of inspiration for us.
为啥郑州女老师的单身率这么高呢？好多人都琢磨不透啊。其实郑州的不少
Why is the single rate among female teachers in Zhengzhou so high? A lot of people just can't figure it out. In fact, many female teachers in Zhengzhou are doing quite well in life. They have stable jobs, true iron rice bowl positions. Their salaries and benefits aren't bad at all. They're highly educated, and on top of that, many of them come from good family backgrounds. They own cars and property under their own names. By all logic, women with such qualifications shouldn't have trouble finding a partner. But the reality, more and more female teachers are staying single. Whether it's at the university level, high school, middle school, elementary school, or even kindergarten, there's no shortage of single women in education.
捞女们现在慢慢的要变成老赖们了。
Gold diggers are slowly turning into defaulters. The data shows that men are no longer willing to spend on women like they used to. In 2025, Valentine's Day spending dropped by 45%. Meanwhile, men are now more focused on investing in themselves, things like gym memberships and tech gadgets, with spending in those areas rising by over 70%. Men are no longer blindly spending money on women, but women still want to buy what they want. What now? A girl told me yesterday she wants to take out a loan to buy a luxury bag. And honestly, this kind of thing is becoming really common. According to several financial platforms, the number of female borrowers is skyrocketing, and delinquency rates up 20 times year on year. 80% of overdue debt is concentrated in spending on beauty, luxury goods, travel, all those ritualistic expenses, with no men footing the bill anymore. These so-called goddesses are now becoming online loan goddesses, driven mad by consumer debt.
你们是不知道哈，成都少妇的行情比少女好。
You guys have no idea. In Chengdu, married women or divorcees are actually way more in demand than young girls. You wouldn't believe how proactive they are. Most of them have already been through a marriage, so they're nothing like those naive young girls, who are still clueless when it comes to relationships. No, these women know exactly what they want. They're clear about their goals, they understand their own strengths, and they're no longer fumbling around. Plus, they really understand men. Once they spot a target, they go after it, confidently and directly. And you know what they say? When a woman chases a man, it's like cutting through a single layer of gauze. So yeah, they usually get what they want, fast. Video 13.
在温州，什么样的家庭最难把女儿嫁出去？你们知道吗？就是
In Wenzhou, do you know what kind of families have the hardest time marrying off their daughters? It's actually the ones with really good family backgrounds. The daughters have decent jobs, often in the public sector, but they're just average looking. And that kind of combination, surprisingly hard to match. Why? Because the kind of men these families want have to be equally well off. Tall, at least 1.75 meters, decent looking, and with a good job, too. They think, our family is financially solid, so why should we lift someone out of poverty? And our daughter has a stable government job. So, wanting someone 1.75 meters tall from a good family and with a good career, that's not too much to ask, right? And sure, on paper it's not too much to ask. But in Wenzhou, men who are 1.75 plus from wealthy families and have great jobs, they have very high standards when it comes to choosing a partner. You can probably guess their mindset without even trying. They're basically selecting a concubine, because they have the capital to do so. So what happens? Your daughter isn't even on their radar, because her looks are too average. In the matchmaking market, looks are a weapon. Without good looks, you can't even get past the first round, let alone compete for a top-tier man.
白送你一个杭州老婆，你要不要？你先别上头，看完她的真实情况再决定。
What if someone gave you a wife from Hangzhou for free? Would you take her? Hold on, don't get ahead of yourself. Hear her full story first. She was born in 1996, and honestly, this girl's been through a lot. Her parents both remarried. She lived with her dad until she graduated college. But then, her dad got remarried again and had a pair of twins. Now when she goes home for the holidays, she doesn't even have her own room. She has to share a bed with her stepmother's daughter. But here's the important part. She's incredibly thoughtful, even when she's the one suffering. She never wants others to feel uncomfortable. A classic people-pleaser personality. She personally said she doesn't want a bride price. But truth is, her family also hasn't prepared any dowry either. Her girlfriends are all married with kids already. Now after work, she goes home to an empty apartment. Not even someone to talk to. She's open to a relationship now. If things go well, she's ready to meet your parents before the new year. She doesn't ask for a house, doesn't ask for a car. Just sincerity.
为啥子现在很多女生呢不好找对象？
Why are so many women struggling to find a partner nowadays? As someone who's been a matchmaker for 11 years, I've got some real insight. Many older single women want everything in one man. Smart, successful, tall, handsome, highly educated, high income, and preferably with family money too. And on top of that, they want him to be affectionate, attentive, constantly comforting them like a prince. But seriously, do men like that even exist? Even if they do, would they actually pick her? Then she gets defensive. Sure, I'm older, but I'm also better. And starts blaming men for being ageist. But the truth is, it's not about age. You didn't stay single because you got older. You stayed single and got older. Maybe it's your looks. Maybe your standards were too high. Maybe your personality isn't great. Maybe your self-awareness is lacking. Maybe your qualities are just average, but your demands are sky high. It's not just about your age. So ladies, when choosing a partner, maybe stop and think, am I even aiming in the right direction? Otherwise, you're just wasting your own time. Now let's look at a real blind date scenario. A guy said, why spend so much on dating? $5.50 is enough to cover 2 meals. Girl, 24 years old teacher, born in the 2000s, beautiful. She's matched with a guy who's 175 centimeters tall, has a stable job. She loves pets, so the guy thoughtfully arranges to meet at a pet cafe. He even brings along a pet for the date. She seems into it. They chat, shake hands. Ratings time. He gives her 8.9 out of 10. She asks, why not a 10? He says, because even though you're highly educated, you're just a primary school teacher. She rates him 4.5 out of 10. He's confused. You gave me 4.5 after I gave you 8.9. Then they walk into a pet supply store. She sees a freeze-dried cat treat. Price tag. That's around $42. The guy nearly chokes. That's my entire monthly food budget. She replies, it lasts a whole month. My cat brings me emotional comfort. He grumbles. Maybe stop raising the cat then. She claps back. It's a life. You think I can just dump it? He adds, I hope my future partner doesn't have pets. She clearly isn't feeling that. Later, she spots a candle. Price. About $5.50. He says, too expensive. That's 2 meals for me. She playfully insists, come on, just get me a small gift. He refuses. She says, you said you'd buy anything except that, so pick something else. Eventually, he agrees and picks a tiny item. Then comes the awkward part. She asks, what do you want from me? He says, well, if you had let me buy you something earlier, none of this would have happened. She tests him again. If I asked you to buy something now, would you? He dodges again. She pushes. Come on, it's just $3 or $4, one cheap meal. You think skipping dinner will kill you? He replies, I'm stingy, and besides, you're not my girlfriend. She snaps. Exactly. You're stingy and you're not even dating me. You won't spend anything. How do you expect anything to work? He repeats, you're not my girlfriend. Why should I spend on you? She walks off. Game over. Post-date thoughts. She vents. We were getting along fine. And then this guy didn't want to spend a single dollar. Not even a tiny gift. Guys like him think unless we're officially dating, they owe us nothing. But if you're on a date, you should at least show some sincerity. Bring a gift, even something small. All I wanted was a little cat treat. That's just $4 to $6. He didn't even offer to buy food. Final verdict. Too stingy. Absolutely not worth it. Honestly, kind of pathetic. Conclusion. The current situation in China is clearly alarming. In 2024, the number of registered marriages dropped below 6 million, a historic low not seen in decades. Meanwhile, the divorce rate keeps rising, and more young people are choosing to stay single. Gen Z isn't wrong for seeking freedom or wanting to escape the outdated model of marriage, because no matter how much society changes, a lasting relationship still requires understanding, responsibility, and sincerity. These are traditional values, once considered old-fashioned, but in fact they're the foundation of long-term happiness. Is Gen Z wisely rejecting a 25-year mortgage marriage, or are they simply avoiding responsibility to family and to society? Leave your thoughts in the comments below. If you found this video thought-provoking, don't forget to like, subscribe, and turn on notifications so you won't miss the next episodes. Thank you for watching Life in China. See you in the next story.